this is going to be great.
Welcome to the White House Pod. With David A.R.
I'm gonna finish what I started.
It's not easy. It's simple. Today, we have an unbelievable guest. We have Lisa London not only on the podcast, okay? Lisa London has discovered unbelievable people, by the way, from Miley Cyrus, Jennifer Aniston, Jonah Hill, Emma Stone. I didn't even know you had done all these. Mark Ruffalo, Selena Gomez. Like, good grief. Like, unbelievable. Brad Pitt. There's a lot of people she's discovered. She's one of the most premier casting directors in all of Hollywood. And also, I call her like the queen of television because that's how I know her. But she's also been a wonderful friend and also cast a lot of our movies too. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the house right now, Lisa London.
Hey, David. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Wow.
I'm so excited.
I'm excited. Now, do you live, because obviously we're out of Burbank, right? Warner Brothers right across the street from us. Do you live in the vicinity, or where do you live in? No, you live out toward me, right?
No, not that far out. Studio City area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Where I actually grew up out here. Like, I'm from LA, born and raised.
That's right. Your dad was like a director or something,
My dad
right?
was a big television director. And he directed all those shows in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, right? From like Brady Bunch, Partridge Family, $6 Million Man, Kojak, Rockford Files.
Oh my gosh.
You know, Police Story, Policewoman, the list goes on. But, but then my dad directed, which are now like limited series, right? So my dad directed things like Shogun, the original Shogun. And he directed things like Chiefs and The Scarlet and the Black. And my dad worked with like over 25 Academy Award winners.
Oh my goodness.
So I grew up in the business.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I have one brother, and he's in the business. And he's my brother, Todd London. He's a senior vice president of post-production at Disney Studios.
And he's older, right? You said?
No, he's younger.
Oh, he's younger.
He's like 3 years younger.
Oh, okay. So you're the oldest.
Yeah.
And oldest. That sounds terrible.
Yeah,
You're
yeah, no, well, not that
old. You're the eldest stateswoman of the family, though.
Yeah.
Did you just grow up on sets?
Yeah. That's exactly what happened. Like, so I grew up on sets when I was in high school and whatever, elementary school. I would say to my friends, hey, what are you doing after school? Do you want to come with me to go to the set of the Brady Bunch? And they'd be like, yeah, sure. That was just part of my life. So
Where did you go to high school?
North Hollywood High.
Were you just the most popular person in school, though? Because if you could take your friends to the Brady Bunch and all these other massive shows, I mean, there was only 3 channels back then, right?
That's true.
And so it was like all of it was everybody.
Yeah.
Because like that would have been a cool thing in my high school, but I'm from Kansas.
Right.
Right, little town in Kansas. But being here in North Hollywood,
yes.
Was it such a cool element still?
Well,
I mean, I think it would be still massive, but they still live in California too, though.
Yeah, but it was fun. It was just part of my life, So I guess at the time I didn't think like, oh, this is a big deal. It's just, this is what my dad did.
Did we date one of the Bradys too?
No, but I did have a crush at the time on Chris Knight. And he knows that because I ran into him years later. Right. Like when he was way adult and I was an adult and I was like, oh my God, but way back.
How many episodes did your dad do? Like multiple of these things?
Yeah.
So you were around.
Yeah.
Did you go to the set every week he was on these shows?
No, because I was busy. I was in school and stuff like that. But I met like tons of actors. But the cool thing was I got to be a production assistant, right, during my summers of college. I went to the University of Southern California, studied cinema television. I knew I'd be in show business, but I didn't know what I would do. I didn't know I was going to be a casting director. Oh. I knew I would be in show business because I liked it. And I loved going to sets, and I loved talking to actors.
Really?
Yeah, it was my thing. I loved.
Did you talk to actors even when you were like 12 years old? Were you just chatting them up?
A little bit. Yeah, I would talk to them, and I have cool pictures. for
I
me
bet.
back in those days. And I got to meet a lot of really amazing people from being on sets. And then when I was a production assistant, right, I worked, my dad did this movie called The Scarlet and the Black, right? It was with Gregory Peck, Sir John Gielgud, and Christopher Plummer. And I got to be in Rome for 2 months. This is after I graduated, working with these icons. So, and I had a lot, I mean, there was tons of other movies we did out here with my dad, but, you know, I always had this amazing experience where I got to learn all about production because I was on a set. And then I also got to talk to the actors. And I had no idea I was going to get in casting.
When did you get it? Like, how old were you when you got into casting?
In my 20s.
Did we go straight from SC? You graduated with what degree again?
A Bachelor of Arts in Cinema Television.
What is that?
Well, now it's a different title. I think it's just film production or what. I don't know what the exact degree is now, but I was at that time. It was all about, you know, understanding and knowing how to produce, make movies, do all that.
Did you do your senior thesis, like senior movie?
Yeah, we did that. But I was more the producer.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that.
But I mean, a lot of those SC movies, when I was first starting out, I did those, and those were. I remember doing one SC movie that was like, the guy's budget was like $250,000 for his, but he made a full movie out of it, and he was a senior at a, you know, I mean, SC now, it was one of the most prestigious film schools.
It still is. It's still one of the
Didn't,
top.
like Spielberg come out of there and everybody else?
I don't know. I don't think.
I mean, like massively famous people came out of there.
But George Lucas donated a whole wing. There's a whole building.
Did he come out of there or no?
I don't remember because I don't know.
Why does he have such a love for SC?
That's a great question. I have to check if he came out of there.
He must have.
You know, but there was a lot of people. John Chu, you know, the guy who just did.
Did you just sneeze?
No, John Chu from Wicked. You know, he's giving the graduation speech this year.
Ah.
Yeah, he came.
I always find that my son goes to Oaks Christian, and it's like when they get the people there for their fundraisers. Under our last one at Oaks Christian, George Bush was the speaker.
Oh my God!
And Jay Leno was the MC.
Oh, okay.
So you're like this. Schools are like ridiculous out here.
Yes, but I was I produced my last senior year project. Like I was the producer on it, and I remember that I had to put together this really book, you know, with all the everything, you know, the call sheets and the cast and the everything. It was this book you had to put together, and I thought it was amazing.
It must have been.
It was an amazing, like so organized.
Was there anybody else in your class though whose father was a famous director, like to your level?
No, not at that time.
I mean, at all, right?
No, but I put together this amazing book, and I thought, wow, this is just an A+, perfect, and I only got a B. And I was pissed off about that. Yeah. I was like,
did you have your father call the school?
No, my dad.
My dad's not donating a wing this year.
Yeah, forget it. No, that didn't happen, but it was very funny. But I did write a paper. My junior year, I wrote a paper about Shogun because at the time in the 80s when Shogun came out, you know, it was the biggest mini-series, limited series. It was, you know, Japanese restaurants shut down. It was a really big thing.
What did you do when you got out of this school, though? What was your first job?
I worked as a production assistant. That was my first job out of SC, right? I went with my dad to Rome when I graduated college, and I did The Scarlet and the Black, right? And then I came back and I got a job working for my father on a pilot of Hotel for Aaron Spelling. And that is so this is what happened. My dad let me sit in on the casting sessions. And those casting directors at the time, who are the top in the business, said to me when I'm in these casting sessions, what do you think? And I said, oh. So
you're like 22
it's
at this
22, 23. And I go, oh, he's really good. She's great. Nope, that one's no good. This one would be good with this one. And so I had a lot of opinions, still do. And they offered me a job 3 months later.
As the casting assistant?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. And that's how I got into casting.
On Hotel?
No,
Was it,
for this
what was
company.
your first show, though, that you did?
By myself or
good
just because
question, yeah.
I worked as an assistant for Lynn Stallmaster and Tony Howard, who had he had one of the biggest companies besides Mike Fenton at the time, and I worked for them for a number of years as an assistant, and that's how I learned the ropes of casting.
What was your first show?
That I cast?
No, that you were assistant on.
Oh,
that you
God.
Worked with Fenton.
When I worked with Lynn, I don't remember, to be honest. I did so many, I'd have to go back.
Do you remember one of them? What was one of them?
Oh,
Sorry.
I know. That's
Do I need to
so
read the
funny.
book? Do I need
No,
to pull
it's
the
not
book out
probably
of there?
not
How is
even
it not in here?
there. I don't remember one of the first ones I did for them. There were so many.
All right, so what's the first one so how long does it take then before you get to cast your own?
Well, okay, so my journey, so I stayed there a couple of years as an assistant.
And then you're like, my gosh, am I blessing these people with my presence? Like, I should be doing this by myself.
I don't know.
I could cast way better.
No, I didn't think that. They had some really great people who worked there at the time, like really amazing casting directors. But I ended up leaving there. I was an assistant, and I did learn the ropes. And the interesting thing was I was really organized, and I was really good with knowing actors and doing lists and all those things. And so I left, and I went and had an interview at it was Lorimar at the time, so it became Warner Brothers, right? But I had an interview with the head of casting, and that was Barbara Miller, the late, great Barbara Miller.
Yeah.
And she said, well, we're looking for an associate. And I said, no, I don't want to be an associate. I'll give it 110%. I know I would be great at this, and I want to be a casting director. And she gave me my shot.
Wow.
And that's where I started as a casting director.
And what was that first show? Do you remember that first show?
Yes, I do.
Ah, okay.
It was Falcon Crest.
Oh, wow.
And I put Mariska Hargitay, gave her one of her first jobs.
Falcon Crest was your first show that you were you the main casting director on it, or were there other casting directors on it?
I was. It had already been going, though. I wasn't the first one
It was
ever.
season 2 or 3.
Whatever season it was.
I mean, Falcon Crest did like 30 seasons,
I
right?
don't think
12?
it did
I bet they
30.
did 12.
You
Let's
know,
guess. How many seasons did Falcon Crest do?
Falcon Crest did a lot, because this is when there was Dallas, Knots Landing.
Yeah.
Remember?
The
they
series
had all
lasted longer.
they did like
Was it the
lots.
showrunners of Falcon Crest and Dallas was the same?
I don't remember. I think they were. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they were all those.
That was like 12 seasons, though.
They did
I
a
feel
lot.
Like
Mariska Hargitay was like, I gave her I gave her her job on that show.
you found her.
Well, I don't know if I found her, but she got it. That was one of her first jobs that she got, was on that show.
That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So what? Falcon Crest goes on for how many years were you on that? What?
I don't.
It did 9 seasons?
9.
Oh, I was off by 3. Thanks, guys.
Remember those days, David,
Yeah.
when they did 22 episodes and they did
Those were the days.
10 seasons of a show? Oh, my God. We love those days.
Probably financially they were good, too.
Yeah, they were
for
good.
You guys, too.
Yeah, that was nice. I mean, I was on staff, so that was great. And then I worked there on a number of projects and pilots, and then I was there 2.5 years, and then I don't know, I just got this idea in my head I should go independent. And then I became an independent casting director, which I have been my whole career.
Yeah, how many years were you in the system before you decided to go?
I think you mean at Lorimar, I was probably there about, I don't know, 2.5, 3, something like that.
Okay.
But that was like, that was a risky move. To leave a staff job.
Yeah.
It was risky. And I remember I left during the writer's strike at
Was
that
it
time.
because they had given you some show you didn't want to cast?
No,
Or
come
what was the
on.
reason to say, I want to go on my own versus... Like, what's the difference?
Well, when you're on staff, you're working for a corporation, there's certain
This
things
is what you have to cast. This is what you have to cast. This is what you cast.
you can ask for certain things, or you have relationships or whatever. But I just got an idea in my head that, okay, I think it would be good to go on my own, and I could set my own schedule and do my own thing. And so,
You don't have to like clock in
yeah.
or something?
Well,
Okay.
not like literally, but
The casting directors aren't clocking in?
no, we didn't have time cards like on a set, David.
Really?
No,
Oh,
we didn't
it's
have
interesting.
that. No.
Because as actors, we always did. We would come in, clock in, and then, can you
No,
imagine?
you don't do that.
I know. Does anybody
Just
do that?
be
But there is
ridiculous.
somebody that was like writing down your.
No,
when
the
you came
AD.
in, walked in.
That's correct. The ADs have to make sure you show up.
But
and when
no,
you
is
finish.
anybody making sure the casting director is there?
No, but if you didn't show up, that would be a problem. They would know. You'd get a phone call. Lisa, where are you?
There's too many underlings that are
They're-
tracking your movements at all
Well,
times.
no.
I thought we started casting at 8 a.m. this morning, 10 a.m.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Yeah, and
What's the earliest call time you've ever had to cast?
to set up a session?
Yeah, like
I
a
would
session.
say probably 9. You know
That's
what I mean?
still early for an actor to get
Yeah.
up.
I mean, remember those days when, I don't know, where you used to do tests at
Yeah.
studios with actors, right? And you'd have the test deals and the
Were
whole.
they at 9 a.m. though?
No, so there could have
feels
been
really
one,
early.
but there could have been one that was early for some reason, maybe a scheduling thing. I would
I
say.
feel like my earliest audition was 10 a.m.
Yeah, probably. But
get
I'm
it.
saying you asked me the earliest. Maybe I did one at 9. I don't know.
Now you're backing up on your time.
Yeah, 'cause
you're like, well, I'm
CB
not saying it was 9.
But CBS, we did all of them. CBS, NBC, ABC. We worked for all of those.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
All right, so you cast Falcon Crest, you do all the thing, you break up and you're now on your own.
Yeah.
What was your first show? Like when you went on your own, was Catherine with you at this time?
Not yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
So what was? That would
Yeah,
that
my
would kind of
business
not
partner,
be on my own.
No, Catherine Stroud, who's my awesome business
Yeah,
partner.
such a sweetheart.
We didn't connect until a bit later.
All right, so hold on. So back to when you go out on your own.
Right.
And it makes sense. I mean, at this time, your dad's still directing a massive amounts of shows,
Yes,
right?
correct.
Like you're royalty, really. I mean, the London name is like it's like was there anybody in town that was like, oh,
Well, my dad was definitely the top of the top in
Right.
terms of TV. My father was.
so
yes.
and you're casting TV, right?
Yeah,
From-
and I did. The cool thing was when I went independent, I got to do a couple movies of the week for my father.
That's cool.
Yeah, I got to cast a couple for him.
How does that work? Like, are you having dinner with your dad and you're like, and he's like, hey, take the script out, take a look at it. Is he asking you for the advice, or are you saying, Dad, what do you got? I want to cast your next thing.
No, he would come to me because he had projects, in development and stuff like that. So he would say to me, "Hey, I have this movie. There was this one, Victim of Love. We did."
Do you remember the first one you ever did though?
for my
With your father? Like, how did
Well,
that conversation go down? That's what I want to know.
You're so funny. He probably said, "Hey, I'm gonna have you cast this movie of the week," and I said, "Okay, awesome." I have a really tight relationship with my father,
Yeah.
and he's what I'll say about my dad is he is an amazing guy, and he taught me so much about the whole business and being on sets, and just he was a very really smart director, but he was very nurturing to actors, and I think that's how I am. I know that's how I am towards actors. So
Were you closer to your mom or
My dad.
You were always closer to your dad.
my mom will love that bitch.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom.
But
I love my mom a lot.
Were your
but-
mom and dad married all the way through?
Yeah, you know how long my parents have been married?
No.
Coming up in June, 67 years.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
67 years.
We're right
in
now.
Hollywood.
We're having fanfare.
In Hollywood.
67 years.
Coming up this June. 67 years.
Are they? Did they get a Golden Globe for this? Or is there like an award for this?
No, they should have though. My parents.
That's pretty amazing.
In Hollywood.
Is your mom in the industry?
No, she wasn't. She traveled with my dad, hung out.
She
with my
never
dad.
wanted to act or model or.
Oh no, my mother would be like, no, she wanted to go to these towns and shop and spend money and hang out and meet people. That
Really?
was my mom. Yeah, she didn't want to ever act. No.
Did they get together like when they were 18 years old or something?
They got together when they were young. Yeah, 20s, in their early 20s. Yeah. Can you imagine they've been married? My parents in Hollywood.
Yeah,
It's
that's
unbelievable.
astounding. How old is your dad now? 80 something?
Yeah, 80
Something.
something.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
when did
yeah.
he stop directing though? Is he like Clint Eastwood in the way that
No,
he?
but listen, my father, I feel in a way, he wanted to keep going, but the business kind of changed, and so I think he was still directing in his 70s. Do you remember that show, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman?
Yeah.
That was like, I think, one of the last shows he directed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the star? Jane
Seymour.
Seymour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember her?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that was the thing. But my dad is still, I call my dad, if something, Dad, and what my father's greatest advice to me is, you can't take it too seriously. Because when, sometimes as an independent casting director, like an actor,
Yeah.
you have to get your jobs, right? So I have to always promote, and I'm getting my jobs. And so my father, when I would not get a job I really wanted, and I would call my dad up going, I'm so upset I didn't get this job. My dad would be, I go, do I suck as a casting director? My father would be like, Lisa, this has nothing to do with you. You're a great casting director.
Yeah.
And he'd say, you can't take it too seriously.
He's had an unbelievable run.
Right.
This is Hollywood, though, right? So we're
Right.
talking about Hollywood. I think is an interesting breakdown of like what happens in Hollywood even for your dad in the way that he comes off of that unbelievable show. Then where is there a change in the guard that happens, or what happens to where somebody works less?
Yeah, I think so. My dad, he produced and directed. He had his own company, Jerry London Productions, and he produced a lot of those movies and worked with so many amazing people. He did Richard Burton's last project, Ellis Island. It was really good. Faye Dunaway. It was unbelievable. But, I think the change, the changing of the guard, different people come in at studios and it changes,
Yeah.
And that is part of our business, right? It's happening now.
Yeah, it always keeps happening.
It's always evolving. It's always changing.
Which is interesting because when you think about Hollywood, you think about Hollywood's like there's that vision of of classic Hollywood, the black and whites, or the studios when the studios
Right.
ran, or whatever, they put actors under contract
Right.
and then they would just churn.
The Mickey Rooneys, the Judy Garlands, all those people. Right.
What's that? Didn't Leo do a movie about like where he was was it Leo? No, it was Brad Pitt, I think, where he was a famous actor, and then all of a sudden, I think it was The Talking happened. When The Talking happened, then he became useless at that point. Oh. I think he committed suicide. Actually,
hard for me to think that Brad Pitt would ever become useless. But
no, I know. But in the movie, his character did. I think that's what it was. It was a movie that I hadn't watched in a while, and I wanted to see it. It's a little bit of a racy movie.
Oh, really?
I think Margot Kidder's name is
Margot Robbie.
Oh, Robbie's in there. Who am I thinking?
Well,
Kidder's.
I know what movie you're talking about.
Superbad Margot.
What? No, not Once Upon a Time in America.
Babylon.
It was
Yes.
Babylon. Yeah,
which
that was
in
it.
no way am I encouraging our viewing audience to watch.
No.
But it's an interesting thing
I
of
know what you're
the
talking
transition of actors to. I mean, that was like the studio system back then. The ones where they had no sound, and then they brought the sound in, and then it just kept. It's like keeps okay.
Well, but that what people should watch Singing in the Rain, because Singing in the Rain, that famous musical, Gene Kelly, Debbie Reynolds, Donald O'Connor. That's what that's about.
It is.
You've never seen Singing in the Rain?
I haven't seen it in forever. I don't really remember it. I'm not a big musical fan.
Oh, got it. I love musicals. That's all about it, going from the non-talking to the talking.
I mean, I can sing the songs, right? Sing in the rain. Right, yeah. And do the dance.
Okay.
In the rain.
Yeah. Well, anyways.
She's like, she's just acted like my daughter yesterday, because every now and then I'll break out into song, and my 15-year-old's like, please, no. Yeah. They'll turn to channel.
Yeah, that's my dream job. I've always
to cast
wanted,
a musical.
I've always wanted to.
Well, they're very hip and happening right now,
I know,
right?
but
I mean,
I love musicals. They're my favorite theater to go see. I love them.
All right, what show? Where did Miley Cyrus come from?
Okay, so here's the deal.
She's number one on this.
Yeah,
let's discover Lisa discovered.
Let me clarify
Yeah.
this. I don't like to use the word discover anymore because
Can't say that?
Well, no.
Cast in their first show?
You cast early in their careers.
How about-
These are all people we cast. Catherine Stroud and I cast early in their
Okay.
careers, and they all went on to become stars. Because
What did you cast? Brad Pitt's in here.
I know, because one of the first shows I did on my own after I left was called Freddy's Nightmares. And
Is that a movie or a
no,
TV show?
TV series.
Oh.
They did a TV series called Freddy's Nightmares based on the movie.
Okay.
And I cast Brad Pitt in an episode of that show. And the funny thing is, I have my notes from there that said, "Oh my God, so cute, going to be a star."
And how old was he at this time?
Probably
15?
18, 19.
Oh, he was,
something.
okay. Yeah, because I think he's from Missouri, right?
Yeah,
He came out to L.A.
And I also read at that, I went back, I found my notes because I have really good notes and I keep all my notes. For Freddy's Nightmares, I read Leonardo DiCaprio.
You read him too?
Yep. I said, going to be a star.
But he's way younger than
Yeah,
Brad
he
Pitt.
was younger.
Like 10
Actually,
years
he was
younger.
like 15, 14, something like that. But it was for an episode, whatever. We were
Interesting.
doing episodes of all these shows.
So I want to know though, do you have all your notes?
Yeah.
Like what does it say when I came in and read for you?
I said super handsome.
Yeah, totally, right?
Great
Gonna be a
action
massive
guy.
star.
Super math.
I hope I have a page of this book.
Well, I got to revise it now and add a page for David.
Yeah, where am I on the back of this? Oh, Brad Pitt gets on
Because
here.
I didn't meet you till after. But here's the thing. That's really funny.
You're like, this is now she's in the hot seat. That's
Yeah,
right.
That's right. But
Welcome to the White House pod.
I love it. Okay. David, you're too funny. But no, so what happened is when we did Hannah Montana,
Yeah.
right? Catherine and I were hired by Disney. We did Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and then we got hired by Disney Channel to cast Hannah Montana.
What year is this? Is this in the
20 years ago almost.
Is 2005?
2004 or 5, yes,
Okay.
correct. And then what happened is the head of development came to us and said, we need to find the next star, and we don't think you guys can do it. And Catherine and I looked at each other and said, oh, yeah, we can do it. And so
But you guys were casting the shows, right?
yeah,
For them.
yeah, we were casting.
Did they throw that out there to say, oh, hey, you better find it because we might get a different casting director?
No, that wasn't
Or
about
it
that.
was
They
just
just
about-
didn't think. I think they'd been looking. They had Lizzie McGuire on the air. Hillary Duff. That was a big show for them.
Did you discover what's her name on the Zack and Cody? The
Brenda Song?
No, What If too? What If? She was in our What If movie.
Debbie. But
Ryan,
we've cast
yeah.
Debbie before, but not. I don't remember if we gave her an episode of Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. She might have been in one. I have to look back at my notes,
Yeah.
which I still have.
This is where we get going on
Yeah.
that whole thing. So you kept your notes. Like, where is your whole garage just full of?
I have a whole
papers?
file cabinet of all of the shows of like that.
Only one? Like
No,
how?
I
how
have
did you-
Hannah Montana, which has, for Hannah, let me say this, we saw over 2,000 girls.
to find Miley.
Yeah, and remember, this was in the day where there was no self-tapes, there was no links. It wasn't
Right.
like that. If you taped, it went on VHS. Yes, VHS
Wow.
people. Yeah.
And you had to write all you.
Yeah, our
You
notes.
didn't keep notes about everybody.
Absolutely, we did.
Every single person that came in, you have notes
Or
on.
even their tapes that we watch on these VHS. I
Do
have.
we keep these?
And I
did you develop this, or does anybody else do this?
I'm sure every casting director has their own system, how they do it. But
have you ever talked to another casting director who has notes like this?
Well, I'm sure they do.
But you've never had that conversation, like
No.
over drinks or something, and you're like, hey.
How do you keep your
Did you
files?
do that?
Yeah. Some people probably started keeping them all on the computer.
Well,
but
that's easier, but-
in those days, we had sheets with everybody's name on it, and then we wrote our notes. I still did that on the movies I cast for you.
Wow.
Mr. Manhattan, Strong Fathers, Strong Daughters. When we read all those kids, all of them, the notes on my notes.
Nice.
And I have
And
all.
somehow Everson White ended up being the youngest
I don't know
on.
how that
and
happened?
she actually is really great though in the movie.
I know she did a great job.
I'm not saying that I'm biased.
Just a little, but no. She did do a good job. She was so cute.
She was super cute.
Yeah.
That was good. Those were good little movies.
I loved those movies.
Yeah. And Love on the Rock. You cast Love on the Rock.
And yes, and Nothing's Impossible.
And Nothing's Impossible.
Yeah, for you. That was
great.
good. So we need to do it again.
We should.
Yes. But wait, so back to this Miley thing. So we saw over 2,000 girls for that movie and for that series. And when we did that, Miley had a lot of callbacks for that show.
Why?
Because that's what it took, to find the next
But
star.
Billy Ray was massive at that time,
yes,
right?
But let me tell you this real scoop. There's a lot of scoops out there about Hannah Montana, but I'm going to tell you the correct one.
All right, I like the real ones versus
Yes.
the unreal ones.
So we saw over 2,000 girls, and, it went from Catherine and I narrowing it down, and then it got down, 200, 100. The producer and director probably saw 200 girls, and then we got down to 150, 10, and Miley was in the last, obviously. We kept bringing her back. We saw her tape, and then we had her retape, and then she came to L.A., and then we
How
worked
old is
with
she
her.
at this point?
12.
Wow.
12. And then, so there was a lot of callbacks, right? So when, in the end...
Who's taking her? It's obviously Billy's not taking her.
No, her mom.
Her mom is,
Tish.
okay.
So then when it came down, once Miley finally got the role, Catherine and I said to her mother, Tish, would Billy ever consider doing this? And Tish said, maybe, because then we can move the whole family out to L.A. So that idea, a lot of people like to take credit for it. A lot. Oh, yeah, I could tell you crazy stories. I won't. But a lot of people from, the network, agents, this, that. The truth was Catherine and I were the people that came up with that idea after Miley got cast. It was never a conversation because we needed we needed the lead first before we got the father.
How, though, but out of that, I would imagine, though, isn't that... was it nepotism, though? Because, your dad's a massive country star. Was he doing country music at that time?
Yeah, not so much.
Or
And
was it
he had
more
been on a
pop?
show that wasn't, had gotten...
he did the doctor's show.
Doc, and it got canceled, and it did. So it got canceled. So then he was available.
Yeah.
And that was a process. It wasn't that's a great idea. It was a process.
You still saw 2,000 people.
For her, and then we read people for the dad.
Wow.
And then he Billy came in.
Does anybody ever read? Nobody reads 2,000 people anymore.
Yeah, they do. I know another casting director who read probably almost 3,000 people for a lead of a television show. Yeah.
Really?
For kids, yeah. You have to go through a lot of kids to find the right ones. You really do, for acting. We just did a movie called Freaks Underground. That's an independent movie. The first one was Freaks, and we just did another one. And we cast 3 kids, did a nationwide search. Do you know how many people got submitted for each role? Over 3,500 for 3 kids that are 10 to 15.
Wow.
We taped a lot of people and read a lot of people. It takes a lot, David, to find that spark, that magic. Yeah.
You do less, though, with adults?
Not always. It depends what it is, but maybe. I mean, it depends what it is for what the role is, right?
Yeah.
If it's not necessarily, what if it's somebody in their late teen, 18, 19, early 20s? No, not necessarily. It really depends on what it is.
How many shows did you do for Disney in that way? Or was it Disney? It was Disney, right?
Disney Channel, yeah.
Like Hannah Montana goes for how many years?
3.
Only 3 years?
Yeah, it was like 90-something episodes, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
But Sweet Life, we did Hannah, but we did a couple pilots for them. And this is where we read Selena. We had 2 pilots for Selena, and they didn't go. And Wizards of Waverly Place, which we didn't cast, ended up going. And that's the one she got. But the same year she did Wizards, she did one for us. And it was a spinoff of Sweet Life with Arwen, with Brian Stepanek. Very funny actor. Very good. And so that's how we read her. And we put her in a pilot called What's Stevie Thinking before. And it was with Maria Canals Barrera playing the mom.
right?
Yeah.
The Wizards, right?
Yeah. Well, she was on Wizard, but we cast her in this other one before that.
As a mom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was pretty funny.
What's interesting to me is like, do you ever look back on all the show? Because you did how many shows, kids shows, did you do?
Well, a lot for Disney, but some of the pilots didn't go. That's what I'm saying. We did Sweet Life and Hannah, and then we did a couple other pilots that never happened.
Those are the big ones, right?
Yeah.
And so, like, do you ever, because you saw so many kids back then, do you look at, is it just like a who's who of oh, that person went on to do this, or is it more on the side of, oh, that person crashed and burned and disappeared, or went home, or is it more that now they're drug addicts and they're alcoholics? Like, where does it fall into mostly?
Well,
for our kids?
hopefully not.
Not the last.
Like, back in those days, there was that happened to some of them.
I mean, there's so many kids going through there on those shows.
Yeah, that's true. But a lot of them went on to be really successful.
Yeah.
I mean, they did. A lot of them did. And I feel like that's part of like having a good team support, a good family life, good grounded family life around you, to not go down the path of no return and destruction. Yeah.
They had there's this thing out. It's on like HBO or something, and it's like behind the scenes of these kids shows. As a casting director in this arena, did you ever, not that I'm asking you to tell a terrible story, but like, did you ever feel like this shift of Hollywood was going on at that point, that you're like, oh gosh?
I didn't know that. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't know about that situation that was going on with him.
Not just them, but I mean, with anybody or with execs, or like, was there weird things?
If there was anything funky, we might hear about that, and then hopefully you had decent executive producers or people that would handle it, Yeah. But we didn't. Catherine and I didn't cross.
You guys were removed. Well, it seems like you guys were. Casting was kind of removed from production in a lot of ways. Like, it was always like the casting offices were away, like the studios over here where you shot, right?
Yeah.
And then you guys were off in a land somewhere different.
Well, when we did Disney,
when
when we did Disney shows, we were all on the same lot in the same building. So, and we went down to the set and hung out. So we observed, but.
How many shows did you go to, like on Hannah Montana, so to speak? Let's just say, how often would you go to see the shooting of it?
Well, let's do Sweet Life, because we went like every table. We were there for the table read, for the the run throughs. We'd stay there on Friday nights when they filmed the show.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, but it was so much fun. That's what I'm trying to tell you, because when I grew up on sets, that's my most favorite thing, is hanging out on sets. I loved it. So a lot of things we shoot now, right? They don't shoot in LA. So I don't get that perk as much anymore.
Interesting, though, that you would show up and be on set that much because they're doing like 22 a year, right? Back then. Yeah,
but we were in the building. We'd go down for these things. You
love the aspect and the shooting.
Yeah, and it's also the camaraderie. I loved the camaraderie of production. I love it still.
When all those actors loved you, because they're all like, you're like the godmother of why they're even there in a way.
Hopefully that's true. But it's very fun. I love actors, and I love helping actors, and that's why I'm still a casting director, because I love helping actors, and I love doing whatever I can to help them be successful.
What's the hardest part about casting for you?
You know what it is? For me, the hardest part is convincing producers to see what we see in an actor, because they don't always see it. So you got to have some finesse, and you got to work it in a way to get them to see it, whether that's showing a tape that they do, whether that's showing some other work, whatever it is. That's what I find the tricky part of it sometimes, is convincing.
You teach an acting class right now, right?
An auditioning.
An auditioning class, which is even better.
Yeah, I teach auditioning, like how to audition for the camera, and how to make bolder choices, and how to have more confidence when you get a call back. I've been doing that for years, yes.
How is it online, or do people go to a studio? Or
a kids and teens class online, and I also have an adult class online, but I started last year back in-person class. So I have an in-person class in North Hollywood because you know why, David?
Why?
I like to be in the room where it happens. Do you remember like the days when you're producing and then you'd meet the actors?
Yeah.
Like they'd come in a room and
I like that too.
They do the audition when you were producing the project. It's so much better. You get to connect, you get to get live feedback, and you get to see their essence of who they are, which you don't totally see in a self-tape. A self-tape is about a choice. And then when you're in a room, you get to redirect you.
But there's not, auditioning now, though, is so different,
I
right?
know.
Because most of it's online, it seems
Correct.
like.
Yes.
And you just send tapes in.
Yep.
And then as a casting director, this has got to be brutal for you because you have to watch, unless you are like, oh, I would like to squeeze my day into 3 hours as opposed to have to go 8 hours in session and meeting people.
It doesn't work like that anymore. It takes longer. But we do a lot of Zoom pre-reads. Like I'll at least Zoom pre-read with actors because I like to talk to them. I want to see their vibe. I also want to pre-read, right?
Yeah.
You know, like in the old days, you'd come in and you'd read.
Now you're sitting at a computer watching things. Do you know inside of 12 seconds whether this is, I'm not watching the end of this?
No.
Or do you actually watch the whole thing?
I'm going to talk about what I do.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about anybody else.
Most casting people?
Not all. I don't know what every other casting director does because I'm not in their rooms with them. But what I do is I watch the tape. Like, let's say I know where there's certain beats or certain moments. So maybe I'm watching it and I go, okay, good, they got that. And then maybe I'll keep going. And the second one, maybe they miss. So I go, well, wait, how do I know they didn't get the third moment in it? So I watch those tapes. And let's say they did 2 scenes and one scene's more emotional than the other scene. Then I'm going to watch that first one and I'm going to go, maybe we missed a moment here, but that's okay. And let me see what they do with the emotional scene. I feel that an actor put in the work on that self-tape and it's my due diligence to watch it. And that is me.
Even though let's just say you start off and you're like, oh yeah, this isn't, the A person looks not the same we're looking for, or B, they're just bad.
Okay, but let's go to your first point. What if they did the audition and they're not right, but maybe they're good and they should be another role, or maybe I should know them for something in the future. That's why I always tell actors to bring your A game to every audition.
Wow.
Because what if we've done that before?
That's a commitment.
Well, yeah, because what if we've done that where we saw this girl was really good, but she wasn't right for the part, and then we recommended her for a different part in the same project or some other project. That's why I keep very extensive notes.
Impressive.
Yeah.
What about the what about the other side?
If they're not good?
If they're just not good.
Sometimes I go, okay, are they not good because they need direction? See, this is how my mind thinks.
You're giving them the benefit of the doubt.
I am. And
it doesn't seem like you're a regular casting director, though.
Well, that's partly true.
It feels like a lot of casting directors. I think the mistake that actors make is, as opposed to thinking that the casting director is there for them and hoping they're going to be the person, right? They're coming into the room going, oh, this casting director hates me. They're waiting for me to mess up. It's the whole negative side. It's like one way, are you going to believe the positive or the negative?
But that's like the mindset that I feel actors shouldn't do to themselves.
But they do it. I mean, as you're waiting outside, that's like an ongoing thing.
Well, and you psych yourself out, and now you do self-tapes and you don't get feedback, so it's hard not to do that. But no, casting directors in general are very supportive, and they really want actors to do good, and they want them to be successful and do well, because if you do well, I go, oh my God, that person's amazing. That just solved a problem. I just got a part cast, hopefully. Yeah. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So going in with the attitude of this person hates me and all that, that's mind stuff. That's
but I think a lot of actors feel that way.
I know, and that's why they should take class with me, because then they won't have to think
Where
that
do
way.
people go to take a class with Lisa London?
Well, they can reach out to me either on Instagram at Lisa London Casting.
Lisa London Casting.
Or they can reach out to me through my website, which is the name of the book, From Start to Stardom. That's my website, From Start to Stardom. You can reach out to me if you go there.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have to wrap this up in 2 or 3 minutes. So,
Okay.
So, you're a way sweeter casting director, though, than the majority of casting directors.
I don't know if that's true. There's a lot of really nice and good casting directors out there.
How, though, do you must have come across people that you don't like?
Well, haven't we all?
But in the industry, like they're like other casting directors, did you after hours? Did the casting directors hang out? Was it like a who's who of the casting world?
No, it's not like that. I mean, I don't. We have mixers and stuff like that.
Really?
But,
Is it because you're part of the casting society?
Yeah, there's certain mixers, but I don't know. I haven't had that. Like maybe it's me. Maybe it's because that's not my vibe, and I don't put that out there. So I'm not out there going, well, let me see if I don't like him or whatever. I just don't do that. And then I look back, and David, I look at my life and I think I got that very nurturing, sort of caring, supportive thing, like I said, from watching my dad. And that's how he was with actors when he was directing. And I didn't realize that until later in life. Like, I always thought about that because people would say things to me like, you're so sweet and you're so nice. Oh, my God. And I was like, well, yeah, but that's just me.
As a producer, obviously, we've been in different rooms with casting directors.
Right.
Some people, though,
they're harsher, you mean? Or
they're just short with people. Or
Yeah.
They're just like, once it's like, how can I get this person out of here? Because I just need to cast these roles.
Right.
Or there's something going on at home that they didn't wake up on the right side of the bed, so they just take it out on actors.
Yeah, well, that's not good.
That is not good. As an actor, too, even growing up, I just remember there were some people that were just not nice.
Well, of course, there's people that aren't nice in every aspect of our industry. But, for me, I find so much joy in casting. And so...
Do you still have it?
Yes.
You didn't lose it?
No.
Amazing.
And
after 20-some years?
No. After 30-some years.
Well,
thank you for that. But I love...
After 7 years of casting since you were 22, it's amazing. You're now in your 30s.
I'm in my 30s,
and you still feel like you can wake up and take life.
It's just the joy of it. That's the
sweet.
Joy for me of casting. And that's why I'm saying to be able to be in a room with an actor or producers, directors, whoever it is, that is so much fun to me. And to get to work with them and see them, and whether it's online, which is not my favorite, I don't love the Zoom. We do the Zooms, but, because we have to. And it's great if you're in a different state. It works perfect. If it's great. We saw a lot of people that were, the kids we saw for this last movie who were in Los Angeles, we read live for our callbacks, and the people who were across the United States and in different places, Europe, Australia, we saw them on Zoom. So it works great for that.
Nice.
But
you do a lot of, it sounds like Love on the Rock. You were doing,
we were
interviewing
doing
all those other people around the world.
Yeah. So, but it's the joy for me. And that's what I want to say. That's why I love it. I love the joy of meeting an actor and talking to them and finding out about them. So that's how come I don't have that viewpoint of be snarky. I don't think that's more, it's not my vibe.
How, all right, at the end, our podcast called Dare to Dream, right? So there's a lot of people out there with dreams of the ones that actually have the acting dream.
Yes.
How in the world do I get into the industry? What do you, you've been telling actors for many, many years. You have it besides taking your acting class. Right. What do you tell them, the ones that are sitting at home going, man, I wish...
Oh, I say you can't wish, you have to be proactive. And that's what you have to do. You have to be proactive, whether that not only get in a class, but, do homework, do research. What I mean by that is, do you watch movies? Do you watch television shows? Do you know who actors are? Are you, there's so many things you can do in this day and age to stay proactive and create a career. And you really want to, if you want to be an actor, you have to study because you want to be a good actor and know the craft of acting.
Do you feel like at some point in time there's a lot of people that are like, well, I don't want to take a class, right? I don't think it's whatever.
Yeah.
Because the people who take classes, so and so doesn't take a class. He says he's never done it. And look how he's super famous.
Right. But
what's your thought about that?
But here's the thing: there's so many advantages to it from taking class. So there's so many advantages because not only are you connecting with people, you're working on characters maybe you didn't even know you could play. Maybe you get to try something new. Maybe you're in a class that you get to do a showcase. You're going to connect up with people. Maybe you need an agent or a manager or whatever. And somebody says, oh, you know what? I'm going to do a showcase and you're going to meet people. Or maybe you'll be there and somebody says, I'm doing a movie. I'm going to meet this producer. I mean, I bring special guests in. You should come in and talk to my actors, actually. From the producing and the acting side, but I think that's why it's important because in this day and age, it's too easy to sit home and wait for the phone to ring.
Yeah.
And this is not a business where you should sit and wait. You got to create it and make it happen for yourselves.
Lisa London. I love how you sum all that up. Like, it's very sweet and so logical and also encouraging, I think, in the same... all in the same trait.
Well, thank you for having me, David. This is so fun.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for casting so many of our movies already. And we look forward to the next one.
Absolutely.
So aw. Ladies and gentlemen, Lisa London is in the house. And you know where to go. Take her. It's on your screen right now. What is it again for Lisa London?
It's for Instagram is at Lisa London Casting. And if you
go... it's casting. You got to put Lisa London Casting, right?
Yes.
And
then my website is fromstarttostardom.com.
Love it. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Write some comments on below here and on your YouTube if you have a question for Lisa London.
Yeah.
And we will get back to you with that. We appreciate you and appreciate you, and thank you for coming on in to the Spot. Dare to dream. See you guys later. God bless you.